It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the co-host of the Browns Boys Sports Podcast, Keon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Brandon?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how y'all got started with your podcast?
Yeah, so my boys, Pranav and Parsa, they're my co-hosts. They first had the podcast in the beginning, but they were talking to me saying, hey, look, do you have any ideas of a podcast? Because for me, I'm a sport management, like digital media guy. And I was like, yeah, I can do this for y'all. And they started hitting me up and giving me ideas. And I said, why not let me hop on for a call just to see? And I did, and I hopped on an episode, and they really liked it. And then just over time, we just started talking more and more, and eventually became part of the team. And yeah, I mean, and now we're 17 episodes deep, and it's pretty dope, and it's a cool experience doing a podcast with your friends.
How has your sports marketing background helped you?
So currently I'm a student at Texas A&M University. I'm a sport management business, but I've taken marketing and and all those different courses at A&M. And I think it helped me because just to realize, what you have to advertise, either your brand or again, our podcast. So we've learned that in college, in which, like, how you want to show yourself to the world, because there's so many other people who are doing podcasts who want to work in sports, and you have to be either unique, you have to be individual, or you have to show, like, hey, like, this is what I can bring to the table compared to other people.
What kind of segments do you have on your Brown Boy Sports podcast?
Gotcha. Sorry, it was a little noise. 1 second. The We have three. We're about to choose one more right now, but we have Unfiltered, which is we just go off. We're all three Laker fans, but we have Pranav is a Chargers fan and Parsa is a Jets fan. So they both have their football stuff, but we're all three Laker fans. So we have Unfiltered, in which we just go off. We have our main one, which is just we talk about a subject and all that. Guest talks, in which we bring a guest on, individual, and just Q&A them, or just the pretty dope people. And the newest one's called Fan Talks, in which we're gonna bring fans on and, like, see how they see sports. Like, it's a little different, more unique, in which we'll probably bring, like, if there's a Chargers and Jets game or something, we'll bring like two fans onto that, and it'll be something a little unique and fun for everyone.
Speaking about the new episode coming out, can you talk a little bit more in depth about that and what your fans can look forward to seeing?
For sure. I mean, again, it's still gonna flush it out more, but I think it's gonna be fun to have other fans, because again, we've had so many requests of, hey, bring us on a podcast, and but they're just fans. They're not like guests who have that experience, and we're just like, all right. So we're thinking of a way to bring that interaction with the fans, because again, who doesn't want to be on a podcast? It's pretty dope. And we're just like, all right, so we're thinking of ideas, and we're like, all right, let's do a fan talk in which we can bring people, and we're trying to do a range of sports, not just obviously football, basketball, baseball, but like hockey, UFC, boxing, like sports that don't get the light as much as other sports. But if someone who knows that sport super well, I know two people who love UFC, and again, I watch it casually, but they go into depth, and I'm like, all right, bring them on, and we can talk UFC, like, just to bring that different insight, because we're trying to be diverse, trying to be different variations of people, and just bring all that to the podcast.
Do you cover other sports besides just football and basketball on your podcast?
Yeah, we want to. Obviously, for me personally, I know basketball to the back of my hand. Like, I'm a diehard, NBA fan, Laker fan, obviously. But I'm trying to get into soccer more. I'm trying to get into football more. I'm trying to get into baseball too. Like, I'm trying to get into more sports personally. For them, Pranav loves basketball and football. He really is knowledgeable in soccer. Same with Parsons with football. So we're all trying to get more into depth with the other sports. So, like, even like racing too, like that's a sport that we've been requested to talk about. So yeah, I mean, we're trying to get more into the sport world. That's how we're gonna do it.
Who are some people that you've interviewed in the past?
We interviewed a few people. I mean, majority of the people we've interviewed are involved with the sports world. So, and the individuals that I know personally. So the first one we had, let me just double check the names. 1 second. Um, the first guest we've had was a 1 second. Kevin Edwards, which is a NFL media, he does exactly what I want to do. He shoots for the 49ers, so he makes videos and all that and he's a student too. He goes to Stanford, and he's really, really dope. He's exactly what I want to do. Just he's doing football, I want to do basketball, but like he's with the team. He gets paid to shoot, make hype videos, highlight videos, so he's really dope, and he's a student. That was our first one. Second one was Jalen Smith, who was a basketball player. He played for in college, and he's currently playing in Germany, I think Israel, and he's trying to get back. He's trying to get to the NBA. He was supposed to get into the G League, but they canceled that because of Corona. So trying to get all that. That was our second guest. Third guest was a personal friend of mine named JT Payne. He is a A&M trainer, physical trainer, and he's worked with like minor league baseball teams all over Texas. So he worked in the Texarkana Twins, which is pretty dope. Again, he's a student, so it was pretty great to see him and like hear his experience. And our last guest was another brown person. He's a Houston Rockets insider named Ali Khan, and he was a really, really dope person. Again, he just graduated college, so like all these young individuals working in sport, being involved in sport, we've had so far, and trying to get more of that variation of it.
How do you go about finding these individuals that you've gotten?
Again, for me, I knew most of them personally, or through LinkedIn or whatever, and I'm sure like it's not too difficult to bring on a guest. I mean, you brought me on. I think you just message him, hey, I'm interested to talk to you more. You can just be on a podcast, and most people say yeah. I mean, some people say like, oh, I'm not interested, or I'm a little busy, but most people want it. Like they want to help out and they want to portray their stories. And again, if you're looking to bring up guests on a podcast, just reach out to them. Be like, hey, look, for 20 minutes, let's talk. Out of your day, whatever days and times work out for you. Hop on and talk out. And yeah, it's not too difficult to bring on a guest. But I knew most of them personally. But we're trying to reach out to harder individuals. So hopefully we get that one day.
What are some of your future plans for your podcast, the Brown Boys Sports?
I think just keep working on it. I mean, I want to bring more guests. I want to have this system in which, people are entertained, because a podcast for 20 minutes, like out of a day, it's not that much. And I want to entertain, and I want to make sure like, hey, look, there's a reason why you clicking on us and, subscribe to us and trying to produce good content. I mean, again, money's not an issue. Like money is not the solution right now. We're still all students and just trying to have fun and add this to my resume and, hopefully get involved with the sport world and be like, hey, look, I also have a sports podcast. So just to keep working on it, flush it out more and make it unique.
What advice would you give upcoming sports talk podcasts that are like you, that are still in college, that are trying to make it into the sports world?
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, I'm trying to get into it too, so it's difficult. But I think have a sense of like, hey, of urgency of, hey, look, this is what I want to do. Have your plan out. And for me, personally, I want to work in Los Angeles. I don't want to go anywhere else. But it's gonna be difficult because LA is a big market, and I think it's difficult for anyone to get a job in sports, especially in Los Angeles. Even though we have like eight teams of every sport, you're not the only one trying to compete. So just have that urgency of, look, I want to do this objective. I want to do this. Have your resume, have your background, and even if you don't have anything, start working on it. I mean, making a podcast is time consuming, but it's not difficult. It's doable. Or like start creating content for like digital media, like make your own stuff. It's just, you got to keep doing something. You can't just be idle, in my opinion, because sports keeps moving, and you got to either catch up to that or do your own thing. But it's difficult because the sports world's a very competitive market, and then just you got to be the best, or you got to be known, and who knows you. That's what I've been told. So I'm trying to do.
What advice would you give somebody that is just starting a sports talk podcast?
So just advice, I would say, just keep at it. I mean, again, it's you got to make sure like you keep producing, you keep doing your content, you keep working on your podcast, and you're gonna start out small. That's how it is. You're not gonna have 100 followers day one. Not gonna happen. You have to build that overnight. And again, be unique. Bring guests, bring whoever you think that could help your brand, and you can help out theirs. And I think that's a good mutual relationship for both people. And again, it's difficult to exactly say what to do to be successful, but just keep working. That's what I can give for my personal take.
Where can my listeners find the Brown Boys Sports Podcast at?
Yeah, so we're on Anchor, we are on Spotify, and we're on Apple Podcast. And yeah, I mean, we're just trying to get more episodes up, and love feedback from anyone. We're also on Instagram too, @brownboy_sports take. And DM us, we'll follow y'all back, and just that's where we're at.
Thank you again for your interview, and best of luck in your sports business podcast in
I
the
appreciate
future.
it, Brandon. Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook @Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram @Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter @Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube @Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for your interview, and best of luck.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.